Today's the day we're going to change out the 203 degree thermostat for a 180 thermostat. Now before we get started, please take the time to subscribe. And at the end, then like the video if you like the content that's showing, so we know that this is something that you enjoy. All right, let's get to this video. Now this is a thermostat that I bought. It's a 180 degree thermostat by Murray. The cost is around, with tax, around $25, which is reasonable because it is a thermostat. Now you can spend more on a thermostat, but for the most part, I'm not sure how they can improve the design. They've been the same since I've been driving. Now what I'm going to need to complete this project is just this 3/8 drive ratchet with a 1/4 inch drive adapter and a 13 millimeter socket. Now it's just the right combination to fit each one of these bolts, as you can see there and here. It is a perfect fit for me to take these bolts off and to put them back on. And then here is the Murray thermostat. I've also added a bag to catch the antifreeze, a 1-gallon freezer bag. And this vehicle has been off for several days now, actually for a week as of today, and has not been run. So the antifreeze hopefully has drained, most of it drained back into the tank. We're going to want to keep the lid on the antifreeze tight to make sure that we don't allow any more fluid to come out than necessary, because it's as if you had a straw. Do you remember when we would take a straw and fill it up with liquid, and as long as we held our finger over the top of the straw, the water didn't come out, but when we released our finger, then the water would come out of the straw. Same idea here. We want to make sure it's sealed so no more fluid comes out than necessary. Also, I use some tape, and I have some absorbent towels handy just in case, but I'm going to tape up the bag that will be down inside there. Okay, I'm going to take the top one loose first. Hope this bag trip that I saw earlier works. Thermostat has never been changed. It's probably in a factory like this. We don't want to lose the antifreeze because it's messy and it's hard to clean up and it's slippery. As a matter of fact, if you drop antifreeze on a track, a drag strip, there's a good chance you'll get kicked off that drag strip for life because it's very difficult to get cleaned up and it's slippery, very slippery. Now I have some towels here as well. And I'm gonna get ready just in case. I see a little bug on the Hellcat. I think that's a good idea. Bug on there. Bug's bug. Alright. Here we go to the next one. Now, they're not torqued terribly hard, but they're tight, so we don't want to strip this out by over tightening these things. So try and keep in mind how much pressure it took to seal this thing. Fit for the finger. you're going to see is that little hole right there. And what that is, as you can see it there, that is for air bubbles to come out. So we're going to want to make sure that when we put this in, we put that in at 12 o'clock on the highest point of this chamber here, so that the air can be released out of the antifreeze. Okay, now for the moment of truth, let's break this seal. I hope we don't have too much antifreeze coming out. There's some coming out already. Not a lot. There we go. Which is going to bring antifreeze out of the hose. Okay. Now we are pouring antifreeze in there, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this one out, compare these two, and then I'm going to take some of that antifreeze. I'm going to put a small little coating on this rubber gasket here. Now I'm going to find my spot, which is going to be the high spot. I'm going to put that in there to make sure I got it. So that is where we need it to be. I'm going to pull this back up here. Get my bolts started. My fingers do have antifreeze on them, but I like to start them by hand so I know I'm not cross-threading. Alright, now I'm going to take this, tighten these back up, but I'm not going to tighten them completely, I'm just going to snug them up and then tighten them together. Okay, I am getting them snugged up. Tighten these things. Okay, now make sure I don't have any fluid anywhere. I want to get this bag out of here. So I taped it off so it wouldn't fall down with some just simple painter's masking tape. Just bring it out. And this is the liquid that I have. That came out, and we're going to want to reuse this. There's nothing wrong with this liquid. I'm going to seal this bag so you don't leak anything. I'm going to go through and make sure that I have not dropped any antifreeze anywhere by taking an absorbent towel. I'm going through and making sure there's a little bit on this belt, the outside of this belt. I want to get that off. Oh, I want to get that off too. So, there's a little bit on the pull. Get that off. And the towel that I have in there. Help support that. Now I'm going to keep the factory thermostat in the box, and I'm going to write on the box that this is the factory, the OEM. And that way I have a backup thermostat, and I'll keep it with the Hellcat. I'll have a backup thermostat if I need it. One of the reasons we want to change this thermostat out is because these Hemis are hot. They run hot. And this 203, 204 degree thermostat is for emissions only. And I'm not even sure that it's good for the engine to run that hot. Now there are those who say, well, the car needs to be at 200 degrees to function correctly. I'm putting on a 185 degree thermostat. I'm not going to tune it. I'm not going to change the PCM. I'm going to allow the thermostat to open, and even though the fan itself will not come on until the PCM tells it to, which is probably at 203 or 204 degrees, I'm going to just keep this thermostat in there. It will open at 180 degrees, especially in the summertime in Southern California. Now, if I find that it's not working or the engine's not coming up to temperature quick enough in the wintertime, then I'll put the other thermostat back in for the winter. It's been hot, it's been sweating because that light is hot. But I wanted you to see clearly the simplicity of this. Now as you look down inside there, there's nothing below there. That's the reason why I taped the bag. There's a pulley down in there, and it got a little fluid on, but I wiped it up. It's better than draining that stuff all over your engine and then trying to clean it up later. Okay, let's check for leaks. Don't see anything leaking. Okay, when you're going to use a funnel, make sure you have a funnel that you only use, even if it looks like this, which isn't, it's only been used for and only being used for antifreeze. Don't use a funnel that you've been using for oil because you're just going to mix contaminants in it, and it's hard enough to keep contaminants out. So we're going to open this up, make sure there's no pressure on it, and then remove it and put this in here. And I'm going to pour this antifreeze back in. I'm not going to put everything in there. I'm going to leave some of the antifreeze out. As I said, I'm not going to put all of it back in because if there's any contaminants, it will have settled in here because I left this setting while I was changing it out. So any contaminants may have filtered down to the bottom. So I'm not going to just put them back in the system. I also take this time and kind of detail and clean the car. Get some of the stuff out of there. And then I'm going to seal this bag up so I can dispose of it properly. Make sure my cap is clean. Set it back on. Make sure it's tight. And I'm into cleaning my car, as some of you might know. Those who know me I like to come out and detail the car. Some people garden. I detail my car. Okay, so we've got the thermostat installed. We've checked for leaks. We've poured the fluid back in. We're going to clean up our mess and take it for a drive and see what kind of results a cooler thermostat has. Obviously, a cooler thermostat logically is going to cool the engine down. And although, you know, we're cooling it down a little over 20 degrees, but 20 degrees when you're setting in line at in stop and go traffic in Southern California, and it's 90 degrees out, and I've been on these freeways down in Devore where it was 128 degrees outside temperature according to the car. It was just cooking, and we were in dead stop traffic, and it was terrible. So cooling this engine down cannot be a bad thing, especially this. Now at a drag strip, when you're waiting in line and they're taking 2 cars at a time, your car's sitting there creating heat, and you can't just get out and lift your hood and drive forward because that's against the rules. They don't like that. Matter of fact, they'll come out and discuss it with you in great detail. So your car's sitting there getting hot. Anything we can use to cool these cars down, these engines down, especially these Hemis, is a good thing. So we're curious to see how it works. Actually, a lot of people say it will actually increase your horsepower. Not that it's adding horsepower to your car, but it's releasing horsepower that is bound up by the heat that saturates this engine. It just gets so hot that it begins to rob itself of horsepower. Okay, so now we're going to take this out on the street. We're going to monitor the temperature, and it is increasing. It's now at 145 and 147. So it's 149. It's going up, which is what I would expect it to do. And I'm watching it's 150 as it goes up. All right, the temperature is at 183, so that thermostat should be open. We're going to drive down to a parking lot, pop the hood, and make sure we don't have any leaks. This is a cool car. Crush. Right now we're at 186 degrees. It just dropped down to 185. Now 183. If you live in California, you know the gas tax is starting tomorrow. So I'm at a half a tank here. I'm going to fix that while I'm out. And then I'm going to bring this hot rod back and I'm going to detail it. Like I said, some people garden to relieve stress and to just enjoy life. I like to detail nice cars, my cars especially, that God has given me. I'm so blessed. Right now the thermostat, the coolant temperatures are at 185. If you're wondering, the outside air temperature is 88 degrees. It's a warm day. I mean, it's not terribly bad, but it is a warm day. And we're in full sun. There's no shade where I'm at. And we're running at a fairly consistent 185 degrees. I'll show you when we get to the parking lot. We're only a mile away. Okay. This car's been cycling between 185 and 186. I've got some sunlight going there, which you can see right now the outside air temperature is 86 degrees. Let's go check and make sure we're not leaking any fluid. All right, there are no leaks. Everything looks good. Now sitting here, as I checked it, we can see that the temperature went up to 190. And that's just sitting here idling with the outside temperature of 86 sitting in the sun. Let's go get some fuel in this hot rod. And then as always, and so it went from 190 to 180 as soon as I started rolling. It looks to me like we're good. I love to hear that supercharger whine. Oh yes. So setting a light at 86, 87 degrees Fahrenheit outside, the car was at 190 degrees and the coolant temperature. Once I began to drive, and granted I am going downhill at around 60 miles an hour, the car immediately dropped to 185 degrees. I'm thinking that we have a happy engine. And that's good because we expect a lot out of these cars, especially the Hellcat. We expect it to be a supercar, which it is a supercar. You know, not in the terms of European supercars, but American muscle. Oh yes. I'm an American, and I love American muscle cars. I don't care what brand they are, but I am a Dodge Challenger fan. And Mopar has made me a happy man. Thank God. Right now I'm pretty pleased with it.
our engines, these Hemis, they're so hot, and to be able to cool them down without, things like ice, that is just much better. Our oil temperature, if you're wondering, is 183 degrees. Again, I'm at 185 degrees. The gauges for the IC or intercooler cooling temperature is at 98 degrees. The intake air temperature is 129 degrees. All right, going uphill, we're at 188 degrees Fahrenheit on the coolant temperature. The outside air temperature is 89 degrees, and we're going 60 miles. I think this thermostat works. Let's do a cool. I love that supercharger.
Okay, everything is good. We'll see how it works with time. But right now, the initial results are a cooler engine. And that cannot be a bad thing with these Hemis. They run so hot. When I get here and after driving it, I lift the hood to try and let that air out. With that carbon fiber hood, I'm not sure what the heat does to it, but I lift it up anyway. That way I can get that heat out of there as quickly as possible. So you might consider doing it yourself on your Hemi. All right. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And if you like the content, hit the like button. You're free to leave a comment, and we really would appreciate it if you shared the video. Until then, God bless you guys, and I'll see you on the next great adventure.